Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Christian Homestead. My name is Jason, and if you're not familiar with this channel, if you're new here, we do a devotional every week. And this week we're still going to the book of John. So this week we're still in John chapter 7. Last week we started John chapter 7, and we got down to the point where Jesus had been it was time for the Feast of Tabernacles. Jesus' brothers were being a little sarcastic with him, so hey, why don't you go down there if you want to be known, if you want to be a public figure, why don't you go down there and do what you're doing, right? So they were being sarcastic with him, and Jesus said, hey, my time's not come. But afterwards, Jesus decided to go down there. All right, so here we are. We're going to pick it up in John chapter 7. We want to kind of skim across this a little bit because of the nature of what's going on. But so in verse 12, okay, in John chapter 7, verse 12, it says, among the crowds there was widespread whispering about him. Some said he is a good man. Others replied, no, he deceives the people. But no one said anything publicly about him for fear of the Jews. In verse 14, not until halfway through the feast did Jesus go up to the temple courts and begin to teach. And the Jews were amazed and asked, how did this man get such learning without having studied? And Jesus answered, my teaching is not my own. It comes from him who sent me. If anyone chooses to do God's will, he will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. He who speaks on his own does not do so to gain honor for himself, but he who works for the honor of the one who sent him is a man of truth, and there is nothing false about him. Okay, so there Jesus defended himself, right? Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. This is who I'm working for. This is why I'm doing it, right? He's kind of giving this thing. In verse 19 it says, has not Moses given you the law? Yet not one of you keeps the law. Why are you trying to kill me? And they said, you are demon possessed. The crowd answered, who was trying to kill you? And Jesus said, I did one miracle, and you are all astonished. Yet because Moses gave you circumcision, although it actually did not come from Moses, but from the patriarchs, you circumcised the child on the Sabbath. And in verse 24, he says, stop judging by mere appearances and make a right judgment. So, here in verse 6, Jesus spent a lot of time defending himself. In verse 7, Jesus is spending a lot of time defending himself. Not because he has to, necessarily, okay? I understand that Jesus don't have to defend himself to nobody, right? But they're accusing him of one thing, he's saying another. They're accusing him of this, he says something different. No, this is not right. And then he says, stop judging by mere appearances and make a right judgment. So what he's telling him is like, it looks like I'm doing this to you, but I'm telling you I'm doing something different. Quit going by face value and judge by something different than that, right? And so there's this thing where Jesus is verbally defending himself constantly because he's being falsely accused constantly. And I do find that in our society today, we spend a lot of time trying to defend Jesus, trying to defend Christianity, trying to defend, well, this is just right. This is right. You're wrong. This is right. And verbally trying to defend ourselves and defend our belief when that's not necessarily what we need to be doing. I get it. We feel attacked sometimes. We feel, judged. We may feel a certain way about stuff, and we feel the need to defend ourselves, to verbally jab back and defend, right? I get it. Totally get it. But what if, what if we chose to let our lives defend ourselves? 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 12, it says, to live such good lives among the pagans, they may see the good that you do. Right? Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. So they may accuse you of being hateful. They may accuse you of being judgmental. They may accuse you of being a certain way. But because you've lived your life in such a good manner in front of them, they can't continue on. They realize, oh, wait a second, this person really does love people. Wait a second, this person really isn't hating us. This person really does what's best for us, because they see how you live. They see how you're living, and they see your actions, and they see that your actions are backing up your words. And then your life has defended you. Your life has defended Christ. Your life has defended Christianity. Your life has then defended what you're saying, and you can't say anything bad about you. That's a tough thing to do because you're looked at under a microscope, right? I mean, I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that when somebody sees Jason doing something wrong, oh, the first they love it. People love it. Okay, they get a lot of love because because I mess up all the time. I mess up, but I understand that my life is under a microscope sometimes because, well, he says this, but I seen him doing this. He says this, but I don't think he's doing this. Whatever. They're judging by appearances to make a right judgment, right? But our lives need to defend that. Our lives need to defend Jesus. Our lives need to defend our beliefs. Our life should defend that, because if it's just your word, it's an imperfect word because you're an imperfect person. If your life lived defends that, there's evidence there, right? Actions speak louder than words, right? Is that what they say? It absolutely does. But then so many people will see us arguing amongst each other. Christians are arguing. Of course, Christians are arguing amongst each other. There's no reason for all that. Jesus himself said in John chapter 13, 34 and 35, he says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. And by this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you will love another." If you will love one another. So if we just love each other, just love each other as Christ loved us. Remember that, because there's a love each other. You can love each other as the world loves you, which is very fickle, unforgiving. I'll love you if I feel like it type stuff. Or you can live the way Christ loved us, or you can love the way Christ loved us, which is sacrificial, compassionate, kind, forgiving, patient, non-judgmental. We're not very patient people, right? And we don't forgive very easily either. Even though we've been forgiven a lot, we don't forgive that easily. And there's ways you can do this. If you'll love people the way Jesus loved us, we've experienced forgiving love. We've experienced a never-ending love. We've experienced a love and a forgiveness that is incomprehensible, inconceivable. Can't fathom the way Jesus loves us. We've experienced that, but yet we refuse to give that. And so because we refuse to love the way Jesus loved us, we refuse to be an ambassador of Christ the way God has called us to be, because we refuse that because we want what we want. And we're imperfect, but we refuse to try to be perfect. Even though we're not going to be, we need to try. But because we refuse all these things, we're left having to verbally defend our faith and verbally defend Jesus and verbally defend these things, when the reality is our life could defend it much better than our words. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hey, live your life this way. Live your life, a life that defends Christ. Live a life that defends our actions. Live a life that defends the gospel, right? Do that this week. We do appreciate you guys watching. If you have any prayer requests or praise reports or any comments, please leave them below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much. We do love y'all. Art of Creation Homestead. God bless you. Goodbye.